9th to May 15th. This is a big week in the astrology. We have Mercury going retrograde. We have Jupiter changing signs. We have a full moon eclipse at the end of the week as well. So this is a big week. So let's start off with Tuesday. Mercury is going to go retrograde. Now, Mercury is slowing down. What retrograde means is going slower than the Earth, right? We think that the planets go around the equator of the sun and it goes at the same speed all the way around, right? I know, I thought that even for my science fair projects. But actually, planets wobble in their trajectory around the sun, and they go slower and they speed up, right? They kind of slingshot out into space and then they come back. And as they are feeling the gravitational pull of our sun, they speed up and they slow down, and also relative to other planets. So when we think about that, Mercury going slower than the Earth means Mercury is retrograde. Now, when you're born with planets in direct motion, you are outward doing, right? We are doing. Mercury is about our communication, thought processing, and the way that we connect with the people in our closest kind of vicinity, if you will, or communities. So when Mercury is in Gemini, first of all, that's its home planet, home sign. It loves to be in Gemini and Virgo as well. It rules Virgo. In Gemini, it is gathering bits of information. It's curious by nature. It loves to talk and have conversations, but it can also be introverted and observing, right? Because communication is two ways. It's listening and it's speaking. So in Gemini, it wants to gather information and talk to people and know what's happening and figure out why things are the way they are. And when it's retrograde, it's like, why do we want the things that we want? Why do we think the way we think? Are we on the right track with what we're thinking and what we're saying and what we're doing? Is that coherent or congruent with who we are as a person? So retrograde means that we are being slowed down now. This is a timing aspect. You have been flying forward since the beginning of the year, and now it's time to slow down, to reassess, to realign, to review all those RE words with where are you going, what are you saying, and how are you doing it, and what are you thinking? Right? This is a clearing out. This is a clearing out week. I'm going to say it right now because this full moon eclipse is clearing out things that are no longer serving you at the end of the week. So this Mercury in Gemini, it's retrograde. It's going to disrupt communication. It's going to slow down your thought processing. The words coming out of your mouth might not come out of your mouth the way you want. Be careful who you send texts and emails to, because this is a great time for your emails and texts to go to the person that you're gossiping about. And then that's going to bring to a head all the things that you're thinking and saying and not being congruent with or coherent with. Right? So it's going to bring a lot of things to the surface. If you've had conversations in the past, this is a time now to take responsibility for that maybe you said or gossiped about someone, and that might come back now to haunt you a little bit. So Mercury is going to go over whatever you've been kind of thinking about doing as of April 26th. And it's going to then travel, he's going to travel back into the sign of Taurus on May 22nd. And then this is going to be about our values, our money, our things that create security in our lives. Are you feeling secure? Where are you, again, doing things that are putting your security out of balance, right? If you got to pay taxes, are you then spending money on a bunch of programs and books and courses and things that need to go towards banking? And balance. Life is about balance. So really you can't just be, paying down debt and future, because your future is not guaranteed. You must also live. So can you find that balance of being fiscally responsible, but also having enjoyment in your life, right? What does that look like for you? And Mercury rules things like travel, communication, thought processing, kind of anything that is communication, so emails. So expect those things to be disrupted. If you are traveling during a Mercury retrograde, pack an extra, if you're doing everything electronically, have the paper copies of your travel documents and all the things. Make sure that your phone is charged before you travel, or carry along an extra charger. Carry extra patience with you, right? This is not a time to rush through things. You're going to be delayed. And what is the delay? What's the opportunity in the delay? That's the question to ask yourself. What's the opportunity? What is this trying to right timing? And then Mercury will go direct on June 3rd, but he will go over from June 3rd to June 13th, all the things you just reevaluated. It's now going to be putting into forward motion. And as of June 13th, he'll be into new ground for this year. So something to think about as you're looking at your year and understanding why things are happening the way they are. What's the opportunity here? And then on the same day, Jupiter moves into Aries. This Jupiter is about expansion, optimism, and good luck. And when he moves from Pisces, which is like intuition, spirituality, getting all the downloads, he's moving into Aries. Now it's the time to do, right? We are creating our own opportunities. Opportunities come to us. This is a nice time to, I wrote my notes, good luck and go after what you want. Seize the opportunity, take action, innovative, inspiring others, be inspired by others, and also inspire others. Think big, make your own opportunities manifest. So you're going to feel like there's this wind underneath your wings to go and do now. No more contemplating. It's time to be in action. We have some challenging days on Wednesday and Thursday where you might feel a little sensitive, and there might be also a little bit challenge to relationships around you. Again, with this Gemini Mercury energy, there's going to be a real challenge to the relationships around you. Are they serving you? Are they supporting your vision? Or are you putting up with people? And you know, we all have people in our lives that we got to put up with. Let's be honest, right? But can we set strong boundaries with that so that we're going to go, I see you. There's an opportunity here for some soul healing. I don't know what that is. And when I'm ready to heal it, I can look into it, or maybe I can journal on it, or maybe I can send you healing for whatever this contract is. And you can dig deeper in it as it waxes and wanes. Sunday is a big day. Now, Sunday, we have the sun square to Saturn, and the sun is also sextile to Neptune. So sun square Saturn this is a part of the eclipse as well. This is going to be effective eclipse. And the eclipse happens at 10:14 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 12:14 a.m. the next day morning, Monday morning. So this is kind of straddling Sunday, Monday, okay? Now, this Saturn square to the sun is very interesting. It's going to be bringing up, because it's square to the moon as well, it's the axis. We call it a T-square, right? So the moon's on one side in Scorpio, and the sun is on the other side in Taurus right now, and Saturn is square in Aquarius. Now, Saturn goes around the zodiac. That's not true. The sun goes around the zodiac, and Saturn does go around the zodiac as well, but it takes a long time. It's a slow mover. So with the sun squaring Saturn, there is a cycle in play. And this is why I love astrology, because we can see the cycles in play and we can start to understand what is coming up for the collective and what is coming up for us. In your own chart, Saturn will square your sun. And then, so we think about it as Saturn at the same point of your sun, right? This is a 30-year cycle, 27 to 31 years to be fair, but we'll call it 30 years just for sake of it. So when we think about it, Saturn is conjunct your sun at some point in the year. And then as Saturn, in the 30 years, not in the year. And then he goes to square, we call that an opening square, 90-degree angle to your natal sun. Then he opposes your sun, and that happens, this is a 7-year cycle. So 7 years square, 7 years opposite, 7 years closing square, and then 7 years back. So that's why they call it the 7-year itch, right? Saturn is the timekeeper. He's Father Time in the astrology. He also represents our fear, scarcity, but also responsibility, right? Where are we not taking responsibility for ourselves? So the sun and Saturn for the collective came to sit at the exact same degree when the sun was in Aquarius. And that was on February 4th. Now, interesting, what was happening on February 4th? The trucker convoy. Russia was amassing its troops along the Ukrainian border, but nobody did anything about it. And that was kind of the big things in the news back then. So that was when Saturn and the sun were conjunct. Now, Saturn is about responsibility, right? So what happened in the trucker convoy? The Canadian government enacted the Emergency Measures Act, right? It was what had to be done. I'm just talking about the astrology. I'm not taking sides, okay? So when you think about that, now in the opening square, which is happening here on May 15th, now what's happening? There's an inquisition into were these emergency measures proper? Ukraine has been properly invaded by Russia, old school Soviet Union, and the world is trying to now mitigate something that didn't happen when it was supposed to happen, right? We could have done something when the troops were sitting outside Ukraine's borders, but didn't. right? So now there's a kind of a like, did you do what you're supposed to do? That's what the square is asking. Did we do what we were supposed to do? Did we do the right thing? Now, this inquisition into what has happened with the Emergency Measures Act for the Canadian government is a 10-month inquisition. It is going to end when Saturn, you can't make this stuff up, honest to God, when Saturn comes back to conjunct the sun again, and that's going to happen on March 2023. We will have some sort of reckoning. Did this happen properly? What happened? And the judge who's in charge of this is like, has promised to dig up all the things and go after the truth and really see, was everything by the book, or did some people take liberties, right? So, and everybody has opinions about that, but we won't know until all the truth is revealed. Now, in this cycle, so February 4th is when the Saturn's conjunct the sun. And then the square is May 15th. So this is like, did we take responsibility? This is going to happen for us as a collective and for you as well. Did we take responsibility for whatever was happening in your life around February 4th? And then there's going to be an opposition. This is going to be really testing us, August 14th. So maybe there's something else coming up around rules around that time for the collective. The closing square will be November 10th, and then it'll come back to conjunct March 2023. So this is the cycle. Saturn is asking us, are we taking responsibility? Did we do what we said we were going to do? You know, how do we feel about these rules and restrictions? Saturn, restrictions. Saturn is also rules, regulations, government, patriarchy, right? So, but it's also in Aquarius, which is about the collective and community. And are we coming together? Now, on the 15th, there is this full moon eclipse. Now, full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other, bringing up a heightened sense of sensitivity for the collective. Our ego and our emotions are sitting opposite, our intuition. And there's this Saturn square asking us, are we taking responsibility for who we are and what we came here to do? Now, the moon is sitting in Scorpio, and Scorpio is about purging. Right? What is not ours anymore? How can we get, like, what is this? It's ruled by Pluto, which is the shadow. And Pluto is actually helping this moon position. But the moon is sitting with the south node. And the south node is our karmic past. So this is asking us, what did we learn from our past? Right? What did we learn from our past? And the sun is sitting in Taurus. So this is, what can we learn from the past to then monetize and bring into our future? What can we release, purge, right? That is no longer serving us, that we are healing. And Scorpio can rule like sexuality and sexual improprieties. The Me Too movement was birthed when Jupiter was in Scorpio. This is like, what is coming to light now? Scorpio, the full moon, brings things to light. So what is coming to light now for the collective to see for what it is, to heal from it? The Truth and Reconciliation the Commission and residential schools in Canada is a huge example of Scorpio. There was a lot of sexual improprieties that happened at those residential schools, as well as other violent things and awful things that happened there. But that's coming to light now. Like when I went to school, I didn't learn about that. I'm so surprised that I didn't know anything. I was talking to someone else, you didn't know about residential schools? I'm like, I really didn't. They didn't talk about it at all in school. And it's not my heritage. So it wasn't something that was passed down through oral culture, right? Oral being verbal culture, right? But it's about that wasn't something that came to me. And it only was now. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's so horrible. It was like covered over. And how can we bring light to it now and bring healing to that now? So this full moon is going to be asking you in your life, what is it time to let go of, right? What parts of yourself maybe also have you exiled that you're like, I don't want to talk to that part of me because she represents a time in my life, or he represents a time in my life that I was not proud of the way I acted, or proud of the way that people around me acted, and I didn't feel protected or safe. And can I call that part of me back and say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for holding this. And now you come home. And can we then use that, whatever energy, gifts, and talents that that younger part of you comes back with, to now create a more bright future for yourself and maybe other people, so they never have to go through what you went through? That's an example of this. So this Scorpio full moon is asking us to, what can we release? What is in our past that we need to make peace with, karmic past, and what can we bring into the future as nuggets of wisdom and gold, Taurus, right? The information, ideas that it's interesting because the Mercury retrograde is sitting with the sun and the the north node in, well, he's in Gemini. So it's 8 degrees. It's a bit of a wide orb, but still there in influence, especially with that retrograde, because it's applying, it's coming closer. So this is going to be a time when we're going to be bringing up the things of the past. There's going to be lots of past things coming up here for us to see and heal. The past is going to come up for a reconciliation or maybe a reckoning. It's really about the way that you frame it for yourself. So I am wishing you so much love. And an eclipse is not a time to manifest, right? It's not a time to actively manifest. But what we do know is that we're always actively manifesting because we are natural manifestors by nature as an energetic being having a human experience. So what I like to do is I still hold a manifestation workshop for the eclipses, but instead I'd show you how to flow with the energy versus trying to harness it and make it do something, because this is a buck and bronco. You cannot harness an eclipse, right? That energy is meant to do and evolve the collective. You can't harness it, but what you can do is surf it and learn how to surf it. So if you want to learn how to surf it, come join my manifestation workshop. The link will be in my bio and the date and all the things. It's $27. You get a meditation, a handout, and I help you learn how to use this energy, flow with it in your life, because it is acting in your life. It's like gravity. Whether you like it or not, it's there. So wishing you an evolutionary week full of delights and magic and miracles in your life. Expect what's the best that can happen.